Incoming message.
Okay, let's jump straight into this explainer because we are analyzing a fascinating case from the Supernatural Confessions channel that completely flips the script on traditional paranormal documentation. Usually, these stories are presented just to scare you, to make you jump at shadows. But today, we're throwing that out. We're putting on the hat of a skeptical investigative journalist. We're looking past the spooky tropes to examine the cold, hard data of what honestly looks like an incredibly advanced electronic intrusion.
So our central question today isn't about whether ghosts are real. Honestly, rather than asking if they exist, we need to ask something much more unsettling. How did a supposed entity learn to systematically defeat a family's security defenses in real time? If you're a cybersecurity professional or just someone fascinated by physical security threats, this case study is going to sound chillingly familiar. Because what we're looking at is a system being probed, fully understood, and ultimately bypassed.
Here's the investigation log we're working through today. A tactical paradigm shift. Week 1, indiscriminate activity. Week 2, recognition. Week 3, active evasion. Week 4, operational mastery. And we'll wrap up with documenting adaptive intelligence.
Starting right off with Section 1, a tactical paradigm shift.
Let's establish exactly what kind of data we're dealing with here. We really need to strip away any preconceived notions about hauntings and look at this strictly as a localized security breach. The source material grounds us right away, stating this isn't a ghost story. This is a behavioral analysis. It cuts out the supernatural noise to focus purely on documenting the tactical adaptations observed by the resident family. When they placed cameras, activity stopped. When they took them away, it escalated. Guys, that is a classic indicator of an intelligence that is fully aware of observation.
And this timeline brilliantly maps out our investigative scope. It tracks the entity's progression from totally ignoring the cameras to having absolute mastery over them, all across 28 days. Now, in the world of threat assessment, this is an incredibly compressed learning curve. We are literally watching a threat model evolve in just one single month.
Moving on to Section 2, Week 1, indiscriminate activity.
So, the absolutely crucial point of Week 1 is establishing the baseline behavior of whatever was inside that house. Think about it. Before an intruder knows they're being watched, they're careless. During those first 7 days, the family documented standard poltergeist activity. These are our physical evidence markers right here. Objects moving spontaneously, doors opening without any cause, and sudden, measurable temperature drops. But the massive takeaway? This action was completely indiscriminate. It happened regardless of observation, which proves the entity didn't even know the security cameras were there yet. It was acting like a total novice threat, leaving a massive operational footprint.
Which brings us to Section 3, Week 2, recognition.
Once we cross into the second week, Will, the data shows a truly terrifying shift in operational awareness. That baseline, it's broken. The intruder realizes the environment has completely changed. Notice the stark contrast here. We move from completely indiscriminate activity to highly selective activity. The entity actually stopped acting openly and started testing boundaries. It was strictly moving in corners and sticking to areas just outside the camera's view. If you compare this to established predatory behavior models, this is the classic casing phase. The threat is actively mapping the sightlines, identifying the blind spots, and literally learning the parameters of the physical security network.
And the investigative turning point happened exactly on day 11. This is the exact moment the hypothetical became pure fact for the family.
On that very day, the footage actually captured an apparition appearing to look directly into a camera before immediately dodging out of frame. When you look closely at that footage, that's not accidental. That is tactical. It absolutely proves this was a calculated evasion, not just some random haunting. The intelligence didn't just stumble out of view, it recognized the electronic surveillance device for exactly what it was, and it retreated to safety.
Now for Section 4, Week 3, active evasion. Let's see how this escalates from mere recognition to active, deliberate interference. The threat is no longer just hiding, it is going on the absolute offensive against the security infrastructure. We see the creation of what security experts actually call operational windows. The entity started creating its own operational windows by causing technical glitches to disable the cameras right before the activity kicked off. This is wildly reminiscent of known patterns in advanced electronic intrusion. We're talking signal jamming or targeted denial-of-service attacks on local networks. The entity is literally manipulating the environment to blind its observers.
To really highlight this tactical precision, we have to look at day 18. On this day, exactly 3 cameras lost their connection simultaneously. We're not talking about one camera failing because of a bad battery. This was a coordinated, multi-point systemic electronic failure.
And the timestamps are absolutely critical here. 3:47 a.m. to 3:52 a.m. During this exact 5-minute blind spot in the dead of night, the family was left utterly terrified. They could hear the sounds of physical movement all throughout the house, while the disabled cameras recorded absolutely zero. Just imagine the intense emotional impact of that failed security on those family members. You install a system to feel safe, and whatever is in your house systematically turns it off. It's essentially telling you your defenses are useless, leaving you sitting in the dark, just listening to it move.
Section 5. Week 4. Operational Mastery.
By the time we hit the final week of our case study, week 4, the learning cycle was 100% complete. The entity wasn't just evading anymore, it was dominating the space. Categorizing these breaches reveals a wildly rapid escalation. Look at this. After the day 18 disconnects, the desperate father deployed a brand new camera with a completely independent power source on day 26. He was trying to introduce a new variable, hoping to outsmart the intruder. The result? The entity systematically defeated it, causing a complete failure in under 6 hours. It recognized the brand new threat, analyzed it, and neutralized it almost immediately.
This intelligence had successfully developed a repeatable, step-by-step methodology to totally dismantle the family's physical security network. It's a terrifying realization when you lay it out. Step 1. Identify the sightlines. Step 2. Trigger targeted electrical disruptions to create those operational windows. Step 3. Execute movement strictly within the resulting blind spots. That is a sophisticated, highly adaptive routine that demonstrates top-tier problem-solving skills.
Finally, Section 6. Documenting Adaptive Intelligence.
And this brings us to the chilling conclusion of our behavioral analysis. If we were to format our conclusion as a professional security risk assessment report, the primary finding is deeply unsettling. This is not your standard haunting. This is the real-time documentation of a developing tactical intelligence. From a purely analytical standpoint, what we are observing here is a highly successful, fully adaptive infiltration campaign executed by an unidentified actor.
So, I'm going to leave you with that thought. Because whether you are a cybersecurity professional modeling advanced persistent threats or a skeptical journalist who just wants the cold hard facts, the undeniable real-time evolution of this threat is something we all need to take seriously. If it can learn our systems, map our defenses, and totally dismantle them from the inside out, does it really even matter if it's a hacker, a glitch, or something else entirely? It's the capability itself that makes it so terrifying. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep your eyes open and always, always check your blind spots.
Come to me, chickens, cock-a-doodle-doo!